Hello, hello, hello. What I got for you today? What do you think? What do you think it might be? Can you guess? Okay, so if I open this way, kind of looks a bit like a older Android phone. And when you turn this on, you can see that it is actually a older Android phone. But what happens when you turn it round here? And then you have the secondary screen that is an e-ink screen. So this is the Yota. Hold on, where does it say? It's got it here. Oh, there it is. YotaPhone 3 Plus. Not sure what the plus means. So anybody who maybe have checked out my some reviews, my past reviews, will have seen that I had the original YotaPhone, and I really quite liked it because I read a lot of books. And it was a different shape. Actually, I like the shape of the original YotaPhone. This is kind of just a generic cell phone shape now, except with the e-ink screen. So I thought that the original YotaPhone, the shape was pretty cool, and perhaps they should have kind of kept that curviness, just made it a bit bigger, a bit more powerful, and it might have been a better phone. So I had been looking for one of these for a while, but I just really didn't want to spend the money. I mean, these are over $300. If you can find it, these are over $300 in up to $350 on eBay. So I did manage to get this one a bit cheaper, which I'm happy with. Spec wise, it's relatively mediocre. It has a it's quite an old phone now, by 2018 I think it came out. It has a Snapdragon 625, 4 GB of RAM. This one is 64 GB internal memory. It has a 12 megapixel camera here with a dual LED flash, and the selfie camera is 13 megapixels, and this one is running it's not even a skin, is running Android 8. So it's not, by today's standards, it's not particularly powerful. The screen actually I think is really nice. It's an AMOLED screen, and it's a full HD screen. The e-ink screen is pretty high def for it's 1280 by 720, so it's a pretty decent e-ink screen as well. I've found that the AMOLED panel is really, really bright, and I've just it's on just if you can see there, but when I was looking at this phone in the kind of dimmer light in my apartment last night, I just turned the brightness down because it was actually burning my eyes. So it's really quite bright. I think it's a decent enough screen. So what I did was I did do the Antutu, and you will see that it's pretty much what I would have expected to give me a score of 76, nearly 77,000 now. I mean, that's nothing if you look at the nearly 500,000 score of the phone that I'm filming this on, which is a Samsung S20 Ultra. But actually, just on the kind of just day-to-day usage, it doesn't feel bad. It's fine, and of course we're not really buying it for the phone in itself. We're buying it for this e-ink screen. Hold on, I'm trying to unlock it for you and I forgot how to do it. Oh, there it is. So I read a lot of I read a lot of I didn't sign into my account. I read a lot of eBooks. So and I have a Kindle. I have a couple of Kindles. I have the fancy Kindle with the backlight and stuff like this, and ebooks are just kind of easier to read. So this is, for people like me, is something to consider when probably if you're traveling and you don't want to carry too many devices. This is a really good solution for us avid readers of ebooks. I mean, you can just, if you don't even put an SD card in on this, you can 64 GB will hold tens of thousands of books. So it's, I mean, you know, you'd be reading till the end of time. Now, I'm just flicking through here, and it's not connected to the internet. Of course, the let me see, because I put a book here. It's not as fast as what you would be used to using the other screen, but you know, it's plenty fast when you compare it to Kindles and the likes. I need to make this screen a bit darker to make the writing a bit more, but when you compare it to Kindle, it's probably about the same speed. So let me open this one up, and there you can see my Top of the Rock. Looks quite interesting book about 30 Rock in New York. Anyway, I'm just want to give you an idea of the how smooth it is, and it's fine for reading books. Perfect. Okay, so this is a Russian company, and I believe they've gone bust, so I don't believe that there is any more YotaPhones, which is a bit of a shame. But there are other phones that are a lot more expensive and that have dual screens and will have the EInk screen, and I think backlit as well, some of them, and you know, a higher spec phone. Hisense does one. It's a couple of Chinese brands, and they look really good, but they're not cheap. So for the person like me who likes a bit of a bargain, then you could keep your eye open. Now, I've been looking kind of periodically, shall we say, on eBay for another YotaPhone since I sold the one, and they don't really come on the market very often, and the ones that did come on the market were too expensive for my liking. Now, I think the reason I got this cheap, and actually it came with two cases. This is a really cool case, which I'll put it back in. It came with two cases. This original YotaPhone case, and it also came with a bumper, but the only issue was, and the seller had highlighted this, is the fingerprint scanner doesn't work, which is not a big deal for me. So the phone was almost in perfect condition, and that's how I got that a wee bit cheaper. It didn't come with a charger or a charging cable or anything else, just these two. But I think it was a really good deal, and I'm, you know, I'm glad I bought it, and I'm glad I'm able to share it with you. This phone is not for everybody. Did I tell you that it was 5.5 inch screen? Yeah. Anyway, look, the phone is not for everybody. It's really, I would say, quite a niche market. But I think if you look at the amount of Kindles that are Kobo, Barnes and Noble have their e-reader. If you look at the amount of these that are on the market and that people have, I think that's quite a big niche market, and maybe somebody should be looking at maybe 6.5 inch phone with a decent 5.2 inch, this screen, let me just double check. This is 5.2 inch, this screen, so maybe like 6 inch EInk screen would really be very good, and with a subtle blue filter backlight. I think there's a market for it, and put a good spec in the phone. It doesn't have to be 5G, but it could be an 845, 835, and 4G to 6 GB of RAM would be plenty. I really do think it'd be a market for it, but anyway, that's just my opinion, and nobody listens to me that much. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. I really just wanted to share my find with you, and I actually have somebody interested in buying this, so I might have to start my hunt again for another one, because I want to buy something else, which I will of course review at some point. Can't think of anything else to say, but Russian YotaPhone, I like it. That's it. Bye.